You all are never going to believe this, but we are moving again for the third time in 3 years, and this time we are finally leaving Massachusetts. I moved to Boston to get my MFA in poetry on a full tuition fellowship. The plan for me had always been to go back to Chicago afterwards, have a brief and romantic era of writing poetry in New England, and then return back to real life, to the city that I knew and loved. But then I grew roots, deep ones. I met my husband. I got a wonderful job. I made a bunch of friends. I took over directing an artistic organization and really found my community. And before I knew it, I had been a Boston person for 6, 7 years. As much as all of that is so beautiful and positive, I honestly got stuck. Not only did I know pretty early on that Boston isn't like my soul's true place to be, the cost of living has also felt extremely stifling and prohibiting at times. I feel like I took a breath in 8 years ago when I moved to Boston, and I have literally never exhaled. Last year, my husband really pushed us to try to figure out what our next step was going to be, to make sure that we weren't spending our whole lives waiting to live our life. I left my 9 to 5 to focus on my creative practices and my business full time. And then while I finished out my job and all of my dance contracts and my direction of the arts organization, we decided to move up to Salem last year to try something new. We actually really love it here. It suits us quite well, but we always knew that it was a compromise and that it was a step on our journey and not a final destination. So now that my process of untethering is finally complete and I am a free bird, it is well past time for us to try something new. I shared with you all that earlier this year we traveled to a few cities we were potentially considering moving to, but after all of that, we ultimately came back to a dream that was much closer to home, one that we've held in our hearts for many years and that my husband actually shared with me right when we got together. So I hope you'll stick around for the moving journey and to see where we're headed next. Here's to actually finally saying goodbye to Massachusetts, the place that I never meant to stay.